My older brother had the idea. He said we all needed to get away from our phones and our jobs and just be together. It was supposed to be a reunion. We had not all been in the same place for 5 years. My parents were getting older, and my brother thought this would be a good memory. He found a remote spot up in the mountains. It was a few hours from any town. There was no cell service and no electricity. Just trees and a lake in the sky full of stars. I was hesitant at first. My wife was not a big fan of roughing it. She liked her hot showers and her comfortable bed. But she agreed to come because she knew it was important to me. My sister came with her new husband. None of us had met him before. He seemed nice enough at the start, quiet and helpful. He carried the heaviest bags and set up the tents without complaining. My parents arrived last. My father looked tired. He had been working too much again. My mother was her usual cheerful self. She brought more food than we could possibly eat. The first day was wonderful. We went swimming in the lake. The water was cold, but refreshing. We cooked hot dogs over the fire and told old stories. My brother talked about the time he accidentally set the garage on fire. My sister remembered the summer we all got chickenpox at the same time. We laughed so hard our stomachs hurt. My wife seemed to relax. She even helped my mother with the dishes. I felt a warm glow inside me. This was exactly what we needed. I thought the weekend would be perfect, but things started to change on the second night. We were sitting around the campfire. The flames were crackling and the smoke was drifting up into the dark sky. My father had a few drinks in him. He was not a heavy drinker normally, but that night he was loose and talkative. He started telling a story about his younger days. He was talking about a woman he knew before he met my mother. It was a harmless story at first, but then he said something that made my mother stiffen. He said that woman was the one who got away. He said he often wondered what his life would have been like if he had chosen her instead. The silence that followed was heavy. My mother did not say a word. She just stared into the fire. My father realized his mistake right away. He tried to laugh it off. He said it was just a joke, but the damage was done. My mother stood up and walked away from the fire. She went in her tent and zipped it shut. My father followed her. We could hear muffled voices through the tent fabric. They were arguing. My brother tried to change the subject. He started talking about his new job, but no one was listening. My sister was glaring at the tent. Her new husband put a hand on her arm. He told her to calm down. She shook him off. She said he did not know anything. That was the first crack in the new marriage. My sister had always been quick to anger, but she had never been so rude to her husband in front of us. The night ended awkwardly. Everyone went to their tents early. My wife whispered to me that she wanted to leave in the morning. I told her we cannot do that. It would make things worse. She rolled over and did not speak to me again that night. The next morning was tense. My mother came out her tent with red eyes. She was not crying anymore, but she looked fragile. My father was trying to be extra helpful. He was making coffee and offering pancakes. My mother ignored him. She sat far away from him at the breakfast table. My sister was still angry. She kept making snide comments under her breath. Her husband asked her to stop. She told him to mind his own business. That was when my brother stepped in. He told my sister to show some respect. My sister laughed in his face. She said he was not the boss of her. My brother had a short temper. He stood up and threw his plate on the ground. The plate shattered. Everyone jumped. My father yelled at my brother to sit down. My brother told my father to shut up. He said this was all his fault. He said if my father had kept his mouth shut, we would still be having a good time. My father looked hurt. He did not say anything else. He just stared at the broken pieces of the plate. Then my sister started crying. Not quiet tears. Loud, ugly sobs. She said she was tired of this family. She said we were all fake. She said her new husband was the only person who ever treated her right. Then she turned to her husband and told him to pack their things. She said they were leaving. Her husband looked shocked. He said they could not leave now. It was a long drive and the sun was already high. My sister did not care. She started throwing things into their bags. My wife tried to calm her down. My sister pushed her away. She told my wife to stay out of it. My wife looked at me with a desperate expression. I did not know what to do. I felt like everything was falling apart, and I had no power to stop it. My brother walked off into the woods. He said he needed to be alone. My mother finally spoke. She told my father that he had broken something that could not be fixed. She said she had spent 40 years trying to be enough for him, and it was clear she never was. My father started crying. I had never seen my father cry before. It was a terrible sight. He begged my mother to forgive him. He said he was a fool. He said he loved her more than anything. My mother shook her head. She said love was not enough. She said trust was gone. My sister was still packing. Her husband was trying to reason with her. He said they should not make a rash decision. My sister told him he could stay if he wanted, but she was going with or without him. He chose to go with her. They left within the hour. They drove off without saying goodbye to anyone. The rest of us stayed in silence for the rest of the day. My brother came back from the woods hours later. He looked calmer. He apologized to everyone for losing his temper. My father stayed in his tent. He did not come out for lunch or dinner. My mother sat by the lake. She stared at the water without moving. My wife and I tried to make conversation, but there was nothing to say. The air was thick with regret. That night we did not have a fire. We ate cold sandwiches in the dark. Everyone went to sleep early. I lay in my tent, listening to the sounds of the forest. I heard an owl hoot. I heard the wind rustle the leaves. I heard my mother crying softly in her tent. I wanted to go to her, but I did not know what to say. I felt useless. We packed up the next morning without speaking. The drive home was long and quiet. My wife held my hand in the car. She did not say "I told you so," but I knew she was thinking it. I dropped my parents off at their house. My father got out of the car without looking back. My mother gave me a hug. She whispered that she was sorry. I told her she had nothing to be sorry about. She said she should have left him years ago. She said she stayed for the children. Now the children were grown, and she had no excuse. I watched her walk into the house. She did not hold my father's hand. She did not even look at him. I drove home with a heavy heart. My sister did not speak to any of us for months. My brother called me every week. He was worried about our parents. He said our mother was looking at apartments. He said our father was drinking too much. I did not know what to do. I felt like our family had shattered in a single weekend, all because of a few careless words by a campfire. My wife tried to be supportive. She said families fought. She said things would heal with time, but I was not so sure. I had seen something break in my parents. I did not know if it could be fixed. A year later, my mother filed for divorce. My father did not fight it. He moved into a small condo by the river. My mother bought a little house near my sister. My sister finally started talking to us again. She said she was sorry for the way she acted at the campsite. She said she was going through her own problems at that time. She was not happy in her marriage. She and her husband separated a few months after the trip. She said the trip just exposed what was already broken. My brother started his own family. He had a baby girl. He named her after our mother. My parents came to the baby shower. They sat on opposite sides of the room. They were polite but distant. My mother looked happy. My father looked lonely. I saw him watching her across the room. There was so much regret in his eyes. But he did not approach her. He knew it was too late. I still think about that camping trip sometimes. I think about the fire and the stars and the sound of my mother crying. I think about the plate shattering on the ground. It felt like our family shattering too. I have learned something from all of this. Words are powerful. You can take them back, but you cannot take back the hurt they cause. My wife and I have a rule now. We never say anything in anger that we do not mean. We walk away and we cool down. We think about the consequences. I do not want our family to end up like my parents. I want to grow old with her and still hold her hand. I want our children to see what love looks like. Not the kind that is fragile and breaks easily. The kind that is strong and lasting. The kind that chooses to stay even when it is hard. The trip was supposed to bring us closer together. Instead, it pushed us all apart. But maybe that was necessary. Maybe some families need to fall apart to find their new shape. My mother is happier now than she has been in years. She travels with her friends. She laughs more. My father is learning to be alone. He joined a hiking group. He says he is making peace with his past. My sister is dating a new man. He is kind and patient. She says he reminds her of our father, but in a good way. My brother is a wonderful father. He never raises his voice. He tells his daughter he loves her every single day. We do not have big family reunions anymore. We have small gatherings, a few of us at a time. It is simpler. It is less stressful. We talk about everyday things. We do not dig into the past. We do not bring up old wounds. We have learned to be gentle with each other. I miss the way things were. I miss the feeling of a big family around a table. But I have accepted that those days are gone. I have a new family now. My wife and my children and my brothers and sisters in small doses. It is enough. It has to be enough. Because I know how fast things can change. How one sentence can undo years of love. I keep my words careful now. I choose them with weight. I never want to see that look in my wife's eyes. The look my mother had by the lake. A look that says something is broken and cannot be mended. That look is a warning. A reminder to be kind. A reminder that love is a choice you make every single day. Not a promise you make once and forget. That is what I carry with me from that weekend in the mountains. A story of a family that fell apart, and a lesson that will stay with me for the rest of my life.